All right. Morning, evening, afternoon, all. We are back with the Plug Live podcast, and tonight we are joined by the MVP of content creation from Twitter, Brian Kirschner. Brian, how are you doing today?
Mark, absolute pleasure. It's been a long time coming. Like, I'm a little upset it took till the tour championship to get a nod on this pod. You know, you're always putting out great content. You had great guests the last 2 weeks. I just hope I was kind of like the season finale. Like, you wanted me on to end it.
BK,
I'm hoping that was the case.
This is like saving the best for last, and that right?
Okay, all right,
I was going to turn up in a suit today, and then I completely forgot to bring it up to my house in Dublin. But like, honest to God, I couldn't think of a better person to finish the season with. This is what a season! Like, first of all, let me just put my hands up. I have to congratulate somebody. I'd like to congratulate Tron Carr from no laying up and getting a photo with you. That must have been a massive achievement for him.
It was great. I mean, like, the only person, like, you know, when I go to golf events, like, I'm hoping to like be recognized at least like 20 times, because like this is kind of my main demo, and like wasn't recognized one time. Like, I was a little upset with myself. I thought that, you know, I pull up to these golf events and I'm just like swarmed with people, but that didn't happen. But we met Tron. We had a great time with Tron. Had about like a 20-minute conversation with him. You know, I'm a No Laying Up fanboy. He knows we've DM'd before. He's retweeted my stuff, so we're boy. Like, he knew when I pulled up. He's like, "Oh, Brian, we've talked before. We had a great convo." So it was nice to meet the No Laying Up guys. Like, so if no one met their idol in meeting me, I'm glad I could meet mine with the No Laying Up guys.
Yeah, they're so good to listen to. Like, after you listen to the Plug Live podcast and after you listen to Tap In Birdie, if you have never checked them out, go check them out. But like, I was listening to stuff today, and we'll dive into it now a little bit. But there's such good takes and everything in golf, and they're so deep into it. For like six guys who started off and they weren't really like that close a friend to all of them. But no, that was cool. You messaged me earlier saying, "Are you having a beer?" And I was very, very happy that you did that, because I know you're very shy, very timid. You need a beer to
listen up. Yeah.
So just a virtual cheers. I told you I'd have
cheers.
one.
We couldn't be drinking more different beers.
What are you drinking? Some lemony thing.
It's a mango cart. I first got it at the tournament. They were like, and I was like, "Oh, I'm trying this out." They were really good. And then I was like, I'm finding this in Delaware. We went to a beer distributor. I got an 18. We brought him back to Long Island. They're 4% alcohol. So like, they keep me on my toes. Like, I'm not going to get too sloshed, but I'm telling you, if the last two alcoholic drinks I'll ever have are like a glass of red wine and a Guinness. So I applaud you. Obviously, like, you're a bloke, like, you need to have Guinness. It's like a thing. But like, whatever happened to just like a good light beer? Like, I'm just a little bit confused, but it's fine. It's okay. I'm glad you're enjoying your Guinness.
Yeah, it's gonna put me to sleep here in about an hour, so that'll do good. All right. So, like you alluded to already, you're at the BMW Championship over the weekend. Did you enjoy it?
It was good. I thought overall, from a fan experience, it was a great tournament. Like, the parking situation was fine. The shuttle situation was fine. The pricing for the beverages and everything was good. There was a lot of bathrooms. The lines were good. The routing was like a little bit off, but almost at all PGA Tour events, there's some areas of the course that are kind of like secluded to each other, but they had to switch the routing for like just the yardages. So it was off to begin with. But I think, given the fact that it was not like a straight 18, like how someone would play it, I thought the routing was good. And we got good seats all day. Like, we were in good spots all day, even following the final group, even being in some of like the stands and stuff, like we were on 17. So I thought it was a great place to hold a tournament. I wish there were more on the East Coast, but I kind of sold my soul to the devil last week, willing Zal to victory. So I get there, and we get there exactly at 11:45, like for Zalatoris' tee time. I see him walk to tee box. Like, I snap a pic. Like, I'm there with him. Like, makes a nice par on 2. On 3, par 5. Driver in the right rough, and I'm like right there, like looking at him. Like, he hits the shot, makes birdie, and then he goes on to 4T. I'm right behind the tee. I tweeted that great picture. I'm right behind him on 4T. And he's kind of like stretching before. He's kind of like stretching. I'm like, all right, like whatever. Rips the drive, and it's just like cannot move his back, like immediately to the caddy, like my back. And I'm like, oh, wait, what just happened? And then it withdraws like before the next hole. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a tough thing to see, but at the end of the day, he still won. He still won me a lot of money. It was a community win. So if I had to go through that for him to, withdraw wide in front of my eyes, that was worth it. That was a fine trade-off.
Yeah, you are the work of the devil. So you obviously you won a lot of money on him at the St. Jude, and then last week you went back to the well and you decided I'm gonna go Zalatoris again. And and Cam Young as well.
Yeah, so this is basically like part of content where like it becomes like a gray line. Like, I bet Zalatoris more so like for the content, like more just saying he's gonna go back to back, like versus me actually being like, yeah, he's gonna win this week. Like, it was more like, yeah, Zal's my boy. Like, it was like a respect bet. Like, after last week, like, you just got to go right back. That wasn't like a really good betting strategy, but no regrets. It's fine. And then my other guy in the mix was Cam Young, who on Friday looked unbelievable. Darts on every single hole, hitting a bunch of fairways, like playing really well. I'm like, all right, like we're doing this. Get there. First like 6 holes, because I was kind of out and about. Like, I watched him play 2 holes. He made bogey on both. And then on all the other holes he played, he was 2 under. So I didn't see him make a single birdie all weekend, and I followed him for like more than 18 holes. So there was just some like weird energy around me over the weekend. And, that's fine. You can't have it all.
All right.
Yeah. From a betting perspective, not great.
If you're going to, let's say you want to do this again and you want to go watch the tournament, you're like, listen, I'm going to put the BK jinx on somebody here. Who are you going straight up to try and jinx them?
I don't know if it's like an all encompass. Like, I don't know if next year at the Travelers, I'm gonna, have some bad juju around me. Like, it might have just been a one-off in Delaware, flew too close to the sun last week. But, I was following Rom for a little bit. He's not my best boy. I don't love Rombo, but he was playing really great when I was following him. And then, towards the final at the end, we're watching Cantlay. He went on to win. So I think I really have to, like, you can't fake a jinx. Like, I have to have a lot of money on you. And that's when you're going to have to fall. And so it's okay. We're over it. We're able to lose some money. But it would have been nice to have a guy in the mix, but it was nice to just go see some PGA Tour players in the flesh.
I'm just happy you won't be banned anytime soon. If you're
you don't
want to jinx. I was
absolutely
worried.
Don't even worry about it. It will be totally fine.
I was thinking if the VK ever comes over for the Open Championship, he might not be able to get in. But I'm good. I'm happy to hear that. We did have a Patrick Cantlay winner, which was very impressive. Like 5 out of his last 8 wins have come on bent grass greens. Did you see the putt that he missed on Saturday? The little 2-footer.
Yeah, he missed. I think someone put out a stat that he was like the first person to shoot a 65 or better, missing 3 putts within 3 feet. So whatever, Scott Stallings missed a few, Xander missed a few, Scotty missed a few. Like, Xander could have won that tournament by 4 strokes. Obviously, that's not how golf works, but he definitely left a few shorties out there and still was able to win, which we don't see a lot.
Yeah, so just jumping back to the Patrick Cantlay thing, I've obviously been listening to Top End Birdie, and you've been going on speaking a bit about how the players that have been winning PGA Tour events have been coming in red hot form recently.
Yeah.
And that's so true. Like, and honestly, I don't know when we're going to get a winner above 30-1 again.
No, it is really true. And even if you kind of trace it back to some of the longer shot winners we saw over the summer, like JT Poston, for example, that wanted about like 50, 60, some even higher prices. T2 at the Travelers the weekend before. Zalatoris wasn't playing unbelievable. He was still playing well, but it seems to be the case. And it sounds so obvious, but I think it's a thing to kind of be wary of next year, is to really, really target the guys that are just coming in with blistering hot form and just play them. And that was my rationale for betting Cantley at the St. Jude. I was like, yeah, this guy literally is a walking top 5, has been playing unbelievable, and he hasn't gotten his big win yet. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll bet him this week. I should have waited a week, and the same rationale could have been used. Said, this guy's been unbelievable. He's been top 5ing every single week. He's back on bent grass. He seems to kind of fit every single course, and he goes out and wins. So I think it factors in this week, but I think towards the end of the year, you just play the guys in the best form that are playing well. And it seems obvious, but I think it really showed how important it is this summer and over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, so Patrick Hanley's just like one of these players I can't get on top of. But I understand the big appeal about him from a betting perspective because he's so well-rounded. Like this week he goes out and he's 4 strokes off the tee, 5 strokes on approach, 9 ball strike, and 8 tee to green. He gains 2 strokes putting. He's just so solid all around his game. And from a betting perspective, he makes so much sense in the world. One person that did catch my eye over the weekend was John Rahm, because you alluded to him earlier. But over the weekend, he gains the most strokes total. His best performance over the Saturday, Sunday. I just don't really know what to do with Rambo right now. He's going through a good run of form, but like he's not getting these wins. And Andy Lack's always alluding to the fact that he's been one of the best drivers on tour. This is like one of the best driving seasons ever for a player, and he just can't pick up that win. He loses 2 strokes in approach, 0.9, almost 1 stroke around the green. He just can't put it together for 4 rounds at the moment, and it's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, I mean,
happy about it.
I want to ask you. I think it's, barring nothing happens at the Tour Championship, but I think the debate of who had a more disappointing season in Colin versus Rahm is a real debate. Rahm has 1 win, easily like the hardest, easily like the worst event he could have won, the Mexico Open. And then he gets no other wins, and he has no real contention in any major. And then you have Colin Morikawa, who came off an unbelievable season. So I think Rahm's was more disappointing because Collins was just so unsustainable last year, winning 2 majors. But it's been a disappointing season for sure for Rambo. And I think it's also another disappointing season for Colin. So who do you think had the more disappointing season from those two?
To me, I think it's Colin. And he starts off the season, he's 2nd at CJ Cup, and then he comes in January, he's 5th at Century, 2nd at the Genesis, 9th at the Match Play, 5th at the Masters. And just the last few weeks when you're coming into these, like after the Masters, he's coming into this, like the big tournaments of the season, and he just can't go and get that PGA Tour win. Like, to be like, his best finish was a 5th, and after a 5th at the US Open, his next best finish was a T26 at the RBC. And this is the time that you want to be peaking.
Yeah.
And to me, and Colin Morikawa was like this new kid, like, he's not new anymore, but he was this new kid around the block, and he was going to win 4 times every single year. And for him just to have like only one top 25 finish in like the last 4 months is like, I'm like, what are we doing here? And the putter, we keep speaking about the putter, and it's so bad, and he loses strokes putting in 5 out of his last 7 tournaments, and sometimes he spikes. He hasn't spiked. The best spike he has was at the US Open, where he finished T5, gained almost 5 strokes putting, but like he just hasn't spiked, and that's my personal issue with Colin. So I've been waiting all year from him, and he's got to like 35-1 at some courses as the like defending Open champion, and he just can't get it going.
Yeah, I think that we were a little bit spoiled last year with just how well he played and how many times he won or was in contention, and it was probably a little bit unsustainable. But it's okay. I'm sure they are both the biggest bounce back candidates, and between them, they'll probably have 4 or 5 wins this upcoming season, or they're just fucked forever. We don't know. They could have peaked.
The last one I want to go to, just because it was such a funny kind of moment, is the Jordan Spieth incident in the bunker. That, like, he is. Actually, just do this for me. To give me your top 3 players in terms of like your favorite players.
We'll go Zal. Like it would have been Cam Smith, but like not Cam Smith anymore. You know, I like Cantley. I do like Cantley. I like how he, acts. And then I'll go KH Lee for my third. Love me some KH.
Okay, so my number 1 is in between Rory and Spieth. But like Rory, just from like a genuine perspective, is just like the nicest person in the world. He released the PGA Tour, makes that video, and he's such a great leader in the way that he speaks with fans. He doesn't rush, and I tweeted this out the other day, he doesn't rush into answers, and he always gives a genuine opinion on whatever somebody asks him about. Spieth from a content perspective. Spieth is like the PGA Tour version of you.
Yeah, like, that's good. That's funny.
You like, he would go with Griller, and you could just mic them up, and people always tweet like, you don't need the commentators to speak because the two of them are so. And Spieth's hitting this stupid shot out of the bunker. Maybe it wasn't stupid, and he's like, I'm either going to be short of the war, I'm going to be on the green. There's no in between. Griller's like, this one's on you, or Spieth's like, this one's on me. Like, he's the best. I think my third favorite would probably be Hovland. I'm just constantly rooting for him.
And the thing about Spieth is that like he was tied for the lead at that moment. Like he was like in contention. Like it's fine if like he is like, a couple, like if he was like T34 in that moment, like whatever. But like he basically had like the tournament on the line, and like he played absolutely horrible after it. But the best line was Greller just being like, I think this is like a Tuesday or Wednesday shot. But like not in a tournament that like you're leading. And that just shows how little power caddies have sometimes, where they can't talk their golfer off a shot. Like that is the most you will hear a caddy talk a golfer off a shot, and he still couldn't do it.
Oh, I love him so much. All right, we'll move on here, so we're not going to spend the whole thing talking about last week, but there was some news coming out today that you tweeted earlier. There's been a bit of a U-turn with the LIV golfers.
Yeah.
So apparently now, according to No Laying Up, who are reporting that Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Scott, and Joaquin Niemann will now all be staying. But Cam Smith is obviously the obvious one that's probably still going to go.
Yeah.
So I think me and you are in complete agreement on this. Hideki staying is one of the biggest wins that the PGA Tour will get this season, if not the biggest. Like, we think of it as in like, oh, Hideki Matsuyama, he's an Asian golfer. The appeal he has to golfers in Japan and in Asia in total, he wins the Masters. He is like a superstar out there. He is like the Tiger Woods to Asian golf. That's a hyperbole, but like in generally speaking, he is massive. What's your thoughts on Hideki staying? Or
like, I mean, I hope it's completely true, but I know that like No Laying Up has really close connections with the tour, and it seems to be lockstep that Hideki is committed to the PGA Tour, which would be unbelievable. So like him staying, and then let's say Adam Scott, who was in the meeting, it's reported now he was in the meeting. He's had a really good run. And then we have Joaquin Niemann, who was also in this meeting. If none of them go, like I just don't see like who is the big name that LIV is getting. Like there was supposed to be such a massive exodus after the FedEx Cup or after the President's Cup. And I think everyone was kind of factoring that in when they were thinking about LIV, is that, okay, they're going to get Decky, they're going to get Neiman, they might get Mito, like they're going to get Adam Scott. Like now if they get none of those, it's just like, okay, so like the PGA Tour is basically the same without Cam Smith, because I think most people are totally fine with Bryson, DJ, and Reed, going over, and Brooks, like going over. I don't think they're doing any disservice leaving the PGA Tour, given the fact that we've had people take their place and more with golfers like Cam Young, Will Zalatoris, Davis Riley, Sahith. Like, there's just a lot of golfers that have taken their place and more. And I don't think anyone's looking at this tour championship and be like, oh, I feel like something's lacking here. Like, there's not enough good. Like, no, if you showed us that last year before LIV was even a thing, no one would bat an eye, really. So I think that if everyone can stay, if they lose like Leishman or whatever, but if Hideki and Neiman and Scott stay, Scott can go. I don't think it's that big a deal, but yeah.
Well, if he does stay, that's like throwing a middle finger out to Mark Leishman and Cam Smith saying, "Hey, you go ruin your reputation. I'm going to stay here because I'm going to do what's right." And he is the one person that plays a limited schedule year in, year out, and he will be the one person that everybody would say he's getting past it. Maybe he's like a little bit more entitled to go than maybe a Cameron Smith. For Adam Scott to stay and turn around to his fellow countryman and say, "No, I'm staying," is massive. I think what you mentioned there, like the other point about it is these golfers leaving have made themselves so unbearable by leaving that it is literally a good riddance to you. Like, get out of our tour. Ian Poulter tweeted over the weekend, and I replied to him this morning that, the European tour won't give me media rights. And it's like the contract that they signed says you're not allowed to go and interview with anybody else unless we give you permission. You're not allowed to wear, you're basically not allowed to wear clothes unless they say, yeah, you can go wear clothes to these events. They have become the most intolerable bunch of golfers. And like now they're suing their counterparts they used to play with on team events and everything with. Like, nobody, you're exactly right in what you're saying. Nobody is turning around and saying, geez, I wish Bryson was at this event, you're out. You're suing, like they're not suing, but some of them are suing. You're out. Good luck. We will not miss you whatsoever. The PGA Tour is actually in a better state than it was before because the people on the PGA Tour now want to genuinely be there. So I'm honestly, I sat down last Thursday and Friday and I was like, okay, there's no LIV news at the moment. It actually might be one podcast where I don't have to don't speak about it, but every week there's something coming out. But Hideki, Scott, and Neiman playing is such a huge W for Jay Monahan and his team, who, to be honest, Jay Monahan could probably be gone himself.
Yeah.
The players probably should have a word with Jay Monahan. And I've a bone to pick about that, but it's I think the PGA Tour is actually in such a stronger position now than they were 1 week ago. If this is all true, what Nolan report and Alan Shipnook from the Firepit Collective report as well. So it all seems pretty sturdy. Anything else about LIV? Because I've been ranting on about it for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah, I would say the other thing that I would say some people might have wrong is that like this is the time to join. Like LIV is like more people aren't going to join like a year from now. Like this is the time. LIV needs people to join now. Like they might get Adam Scott in a year, but like that's just way less likely. So what happens after the President's Cup or after the FedEx Cup is massive. It's absolutely massive. So if they don't go now, I think it's just really hurts LIV. Which is good, obviously. But yeah, I think this is the time to join. I don't think it's like, okay, well, down the road, maybe like they'll get some more people. No, like the only race they're going to get more good players is if like people went this year, like those three, which hopefully doesn't happen.
And 2 points to build on what you're saying there is like this 100 million or 200 million or whatever they're giving out, they're not going to give that to a player who joins next year after they've got 100 players. So like, if you want to go, now is the time to go, like you're saying. And as well as that, LIV real, like any good startup, they need to build up as much traction as they can from the start. Yeah. If they're hitting a roadblock right now after just like Jay Monahan declared it dead in February, and they're 6 months later, and they actually seem like they were actually starting to get on a bit of a roller coaster. And then then the players have stopped going now, apparently. That's a massive loss for the LIV Tour, and it just stops them dead in their tracks. But just speaking about LIV there, is there anything in particular that you like about LIV? Any aspects of
it? Like not
one.
No, I genuinely don't like I think it's hard for most golf fans to even watch it, like, and like sit down and like genuinely watch it. And I don't think it's like comparable like to the FedEx Cup is like just a money grab. Like we could talk about what the PGA Tour proposing, but I don't even think that's worth bringing up because we really don't know how valid it is. But no, there's really nothing I like about LIV, and I think that the biggest thing with people in our community is that people want a sport that they can bet on and that they can get good numbers on. And you can't even do that on LIV. And the winners seem so random. So even people that like want to support LIV are not enjoying it because the winners are random and, any bet is like 5 to like 12 to 1, which sucks, which is why people don't like this week because the numbers aren't good. So if people can't even bet on it and get good numbers on it and they don't care about the golfers, like people just aren't going to watch because there's just nothing there. Where I have no problem watching a PGA Tour event that I don't have money on or don't have a guy in the mix because it's still entertaining and it feels like there's something there. So no, there's nothing I like about LIV.
Okay. Here's the one thing I do like about LIV is, well, actually two things. One is quick off the top of my head is the coverage. It's not perfect, but it's uninterrupted on YouTube. That's pretty good. The one thing I do like about it is that I think could appeal, not right now, but in a few years, is the team aspect. Whereby I just think it would be so sick if, let's say, I'm just saying, imagine PGA Tour made a replica of what they're doing, and they had Rory and JT on the team, and then another team there was like Brooks and DJ and Bryson. And like I'd imagine a lot of people would be rooting for the Roy JT, and like they're coming down the stretch, and it's like Roy and JT are against Bryson and Brooks in a stroke play event, and there's like the two other members of the team are against the other two members in the group behind. I think it'd be so fascinating just to be able to root for a team, and sponsors get involved and franchises get involved and Adidas sponsor a team. I think that would be sick. And the one thing that's really appealed to me over the last few years is like Formula One. Like I know it's not a direct comparison that people can make, but Formula One is like has become so much more interesting because you have Verstappen and Perez who are teaming up together and they're making strategic decisions to try and like stop Hamilton getting out in front, or this year trying to stop Leclerc. And like imagine you had like JT and like let's say Harrington was the captain and he said, right, listen, we're going to put Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas out in the first group because we want to put these two players, blah, blah, blah. I just think that could have massive potential if the PGA Tour ever adopted a model like that, even for just a few months, 3 months of the off season or something like that. That's my HO on it, my honest opinion. But I don't think we need to dwell on that for too much longer. Something that we probably do need to dwell on is the FedEx Cup.
Yeah.
Because you messaged me earlier saying we need to talk about the FedEx Cup schedule. It's a shambles.
I don't know. I think that if Scotty Scheffler was not number one going into Eastlake, like I would say there's something wrong. But he is number one. And the point you made about Sepp before, like there has to be like some extra points to the two playoff events. So for him to be the same like starting number as guys that, yes, like JT had a great year. He has a win, bunch of top tens, but he played absolutely horrible in the two playoff events. Like Cam Smith, he withdrew from one and was top 10 in the other, had 3 wins. Yeah, he should be higher, but he withdrew from one. So I don't know. And then Cantlay, only he got, that FedEx Cup win in the playoffs. So that's a lot of points. And he's had a really great season with only one like fake win, basically. So looking at it, Sepp is a clear outlier, but I'm glad he got a win at least. Like he shouldn't be in that position if he didn't get a win this year. But I don't think it's that bad. Like I don't like their old system where there was no staggered start and people could win 2 things. Like I don't think that works well. Scotty should be number one. Scotty should win. Like if Scotty wins, then I think the system works.
God. Okay. So I agree, right? I agree with that the leaderboard steps track is absolutely an outlier. My tweet earlier for anybody who's listening, Sepp Straka will start at -4 this week, having registered 1 win and 4 top 10s from 32 starts this season. He'll have a 1-stroke lead over the US Open and the PGA champion, and starts alongside the Open champion, who's obviously Cameron Smith. Perfect format, smiley face.
Yeah.
My issue is that the stronger fields, like PGA Tour events, get 500 points for a winner. The WGCs and Genesis and Arnold Palmer and the Memorial get 550, and the majors get 600, and the players. I think there should be just way heavier weighting on the majors, because they are the ones that matter. And by not giving them, I think they should be the events that are maybe like quadruple points or something, that if you win those, then you're into the play. Because I just don't like this idea that whatever Sepp Straka, but like you can, like, I'm not, the format's changed, but like you could have played from October to December and attained a massive lead over anybody who was starting out their PGA Tour schedule in January. I don't like it. I don't think this weekend is fun, being honest.
No,
I think
it's not.
It's like, but this is the thing. This is their big finale that they want to like tell people about. Listen, come watch the FedEx Cup. It's going to be an amazing journey, and we spent all season to get here, and it's not perfect, but I just don't like this idea of a staggered start. I don't like people like Sepp Straka getting in ahead of the two major champions and drawing with one. I don't like it. This is, and I read John's article earlier, and he said that he thinks that if, similar to what you're saying, if Scheffler wins, then I have no real issue with this, because Scheffler was the best player all year.
Yeah.
But I want a good tournament at the end of the season. I want to say, listen, these players fought tooth and nail to get here, and now, and I just don't think this gives it to us. I was listening, I don't know if you listened to this, but the Fried Egg had a really, really interesting podcast out a few weeks ago with Joseph Amania. And he was saying something similar to this, but what he suggested was that the top 8 players from like the FedEx Cup go to the Tour Championship and they do a straight out match play.
Yeah, but then like Scotty, who was easily the best player all season, like his season comes down to an 18-hole match. Like,
but the thing is that, like, if Xander misses or makes up, if he misses,
if he made the putt,
Cantley goes in as number 1.
Yeah,
because Cantley wins one to play. I would much prefer if we had 8 players just go into the final and saying, listen, lads, this is an all-out brawl. Use 8 are the top 8, because then if you have 8 players, you only have to win like 4 matches.
Yeah, but I feel like it rewards Scotty more, him having a 2-stroke lead over Cantlay than honestly, I would love to see Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantlay play. Like, the 2 best match play American players, in my opinion, are those 2. Like, to see them go at it in match play would be unbelievable, obviously. But I don't know if that's as fair as how well Scotty has played all year. And, like, let's not forget that he fucking missed the cut last week. Like, so I think that, like it should have never even been a question if he just made the cut, had a half-decent finish, like, and, you know, top 10, like, that's all I needed to do. So, I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, in terms of, like, actually betting on the Tour Championship and, like, from a viewing point, like, yeah, it's not great. But I don't know how, like, a 156-man field that anyone could win would be better. Like, I think that if it's great all year. Like, I think the thing that about the PGA Tour season is that we're diehard PGA Tour fans. Like, people who we interact with are diehard PGA Tour fans. Like, most casual fans don't care after the Open Championship. Like, after the Open Championship, like, you have casual golf fans, I have casual golf fans. Like, they don't care. Like, they don't care after the Open Championship. Like, the FedEx Cup, like, it's whatever to them. Like, for us, people that are following it every week and that are, like, paid and like to put out content to, like, put it out every week, like, yeah, it sucks. Like, the last event of the season. Like, I'm with you there. But I don't know if there's a much better solution.
My point is that we could make them care.
Yeah.
Like, I love nothing more than when random people come up to me on the street, and, like, I know for a fact that they only watch the majors, and I have no issue with that. But I love when they come and say, oh, what's happening on PGA Tour at the moment? Like, we could get fans more involved in this. And the point I'll put back to you is I've seen this argument multiple times on Twitter. It's like, imagine like an NFL team getting to the Super Bowl and you're saying, listen, we're going to give you a 7-shot start because you played the best this year.
Yeah.
There would be uproar.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit different. I think it's hard to compare it to football. Like, I understand that point, but the point of the FedEx Cup is to like reward people for how well they've played all year. And that's different than other events because we've seen teams in other sports with the best record lose in the fucking first round. So I understand, but I don't think golf has to be like that. And if Cantley were to overcome a 2-shot deficit to win with the season he's had, like, I guess, sure. But I don't, like, Scotty's not losing this week. Like, Scotty is winning. Like, not even, like, takes, whatever, blah, blah. Like, Scotty is winning the Tour Championship. He's not going to lose his 2-stroke lead. Like, it's over. Like, they don't need to play. Like, Scotty is your winner.
Okay. All right. I get frustrated with this because I'll close it off here. Is that I don't really care what rewards fair. If I don't even know what the purse is this week. What is the purse? It could be like there's 18 million.
I think 18 million to the winner.
Yeah, but like whatever. I don't know what it is in total. Let's say it's 40 million, just off the top of our head. Like if you say 8 players, the lowest that somebody's going to get paid is probably like 3 million. Like
yeah,
but like from a fan's perspective, we could make this, and FedEx could make this an unbelievable viewing spectacle because the last 16 of like the WGC match play is like a thrilling watch because it's actually like that doesn't even matter that much. But this would be like to decide who is the FedEx Cup champion that season. I'm going with you, and we're going to play 18 holes every day, and we're going to by Sunday we're going to have a 1v1. I just think it'd be such a bet, and I don't really care about rewarding. To me, if you make it to the last 8 and you get a massive paycheck, that's rewarding the best player. Anyway. That's my closing argument on it. But I know people have different opinions, so that's fair, and I respect your opinion, BK. You're a good guy. You're smart when you want to be. But we do have a PGA Tour event to discuss this season or this week. It's Tour Championship, which we have just alluded to. It's at Eastlake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia. Donna Ross designed with a Reese Jones redesign in 2008, 2016. It's par 70, 7,348 yards. I'm not sure what I'm going to expect. One more thing. So this is obviously being played in Atlanta, Georgia. Do you think that the course should be moved around every year for the Tour Championship?
I think it's an interesting question. I don't know. Andy was talking about it in his article that this course doesn't, have a lot of variance to it. So that kind of defeats the purpose of a staggered start. I could see that. That makes sense. I think it's a fine course. I don't think it's anything that blows anyone's socks off, but I think it's nice to have one stable course to finish it out at the end of the year where, other people are talking about it. Like, they're 3 very different courses, so you have to be good at all 3 basically to, get it done. So yeah, I think it's fine as long as they move the other 2 ones. I think it's fine, but I think that it's at St. Jude next year, so there's only going to be one different one.
Yeah. See, the one thing I always hear about, and this doesn't bother me in the slightest, but like the one thing I always hear about is like how the PGA Tour focuses on like certain small regions within America, and they never move it around to try and grow it.
Yeah.
The hashtag grow the game. I was just interested to get your perspective from like a person who obviously lives in New York, and just to see what you think about it.
It's like, I would like more than one event on the East Coast. Like, it's nice that the BMW Championship was there, but there's just so many markets and everything. But I think it's fine to have, it end at Eastlake every year. I think it's a good place to end, but I think they could do a better job of moving, the BMW Championship around. And then also I think that they should move the FedEx St. Jude around the first leg and have that reach different markets instead of it just being in Memphis, Tennessee every year. But, I think East Lake is overall a pretty good spot to end it all.
Interesting. All right. So we obviously go to East Lake. We know this course pretty well. Is there any stats in particular that you're looking out for here?
I do think, looking, Andy's article was great. He pulled up a lot of quotes from players just being like, you absolutely have to be in the fairway to score here. So, again, I think that driving accuracy is going to be very important this week. I think that it is going to, like, if you have the ability to consistently hit fairways, I think it's going to be really advantageous. And then again, with it being a par 70, only 2 par 5, so everyone's going to score on those, so that kind of evens the playing field. And then a really, really, really hard par 3. So I think long iron play with some of the par 4s are going to be big. We've seen a lot of great long iron players or long drivers play well here. So yeah, I think fairway accuracy, long iron play, I think those will be very important. But I think the fact that it's a staggered start, people think less about like course fit, and like people are like, oh, like Xander's just good at East Lake. Like there's like that's just people dive less into the stats this week given the fact that it's a staggered start.
I get you. Andy did make some. He definitely swerved my opinion in terms of my thoughts and driving accuracy importance. So that was pretty interesting. I think so. I want to start like going through the field here because from a betting perspective, are you mainly focusing the shadow leaderboard or like the staggered?
I think it's yeah. Like if you're betting this event, which like I'm not betting this heavy at all. Like I'll maybe make a couple plays, but I would bet the shadow leaderboard like 1,000%. Like last year, you look at what happened. You either could have bet like winner bets. You either could have bet Cantlay to win at like plus 250, or you could have bet Rahm to have the lowest score, which was probably like 10-1, or you could have bet Kevin Na at probably like 30-40 to win. Obviously, those were like chopped in half, but those are way more profitable and better odds bets than just betting the top guy to win. I personally, given this scenario, I don't think Scottie Scheffler is going to lose this week. I think that you give him a 2-stroke lead on a course that he was second on the shadow leaderboard in his first appearance in 2020. So you factor that in, that he's played well on this course. Scottie Scheffler is the ultimate par maker. He does not make a lot of bogeys. He does not make a lot of mistakes. That's why he's an amazing major player. So you factor that in. He's a great long iron player. Has all the tools in the bag. I just don't see him losing this week. So no, I think every single bet is a loser. If you're betting with the strokes. But again, yeah, I think that Rory McIlroy, Cantlay, Xander, like Rahm, like they could absolutely all shoot, minus 12, minus 13 over the weekend. And then you're in a position to catch a much larger bet than you were to if you bet them to win, which they're not going to, because I just don't see Scottie falling back this week. So I think you got to figure out what Scottie's doing. And if you think that he's going to choke it up, which I think is a horrible take, then yeah, maybe. But I do think that Scottie will come out victorious, and you should bet the shadow leaderboard.
Yeah, I was a bit more hesitant about Scottie last week because FedEx St. Jude, he missed the cut. He seemed very unhappy with his putter. And we saw a little bit about that. We saw a little bit of that last week.
Yeah.
But like he still finished third in like one of the strongest fields that we get all year. He is just playing bad golf. But then last week he just picked it up. Like he went third missed cut, 21st missed cut in his last 4 starts. But I think last week he looked so good. Even though he was frustrated with his game, I still finished third. Imagine you give him a 2-shot lead.
Yeah.
And you tell him go out and win this against Cantlay, who's like 2 shots behind you. I think he has a good chance. In terms of other players in the field, The person I'm going to go to is Xander, but
Yeah.
I will mention Rory McIlroy because you do mention him there. His ball striking performance at the moment is like through the roof. Like this last weekend, he's first off the tee, he's 14th in approach, 6th around the green, first tee to green, and he's like strokes game putting, he's 57th, which is his like worst putting performance this season. And I was going through some of the stats, like his ball striking has been insane for like the last few months since March. In 13 events since March, he's gained like over 5.7 strokes ball striking in 11 events. And he's like finishing the top 14 here in 4 consecutive starts at the Tour Championship. But I just don't know what to do. Like, because here's my take. We've seen so many great players get new caddies and win this season. Like Zalatoris and Scheffler. And I've always been a Harry Diamond fan. But Rory McIlroy's one win in 2022 has come when he had a new caddy on the bag. And like, I'm starting to think to myself, Rory needs a new caddy if he's ever going to win the Masters.
So you're out on Harry Diamond.
I think so.
All right. Okay. I mean, I know that's like a pretty I know people, that's like a thing. Like people, again, I am not going to pretend to know as much and be as in the trenches with Rory as you and your fellow blokes, but I know that people don't love Harry Diamond. So yeah, he's never gonna. Harry Diamond's here to stay. He's not gonna switch his caddy. Just don't want to get your hopes up. But yeah. Obviously, Rory, hit the ball great last week and didn't putt well. Is that the first time that's happened in his career? No. I think that's pretty on brand for Rory. Granted, I think that he's unbelievable at this course. I think Xander is unbelievable at this course. Like, this is the course that people think about Xander in. People are like, anytime it's like comps or whatever, it's like, oh, well, Xander's good at East Lake. Like, this is Xander's place. Obviously did not play unbelievable yesterday, but, still finished top 3, whatever, playing well. Average finish at the St. Jude, had 2 wins earlier this summer. I think people's best bets, and they're probably the 2 most obvious plays, but would be to bet Rory and Xander shadow leaderboard winner. Like, I just think you cover yourself if Scotty just goes out and wins, which he will, and they're most likely going to play really well this week. So, yeah, I'm with you there. That I think shadow leaderboard. And you're like, oh, you're not losing that many points. Like, Rory's 11-1 to win just like regularly. And on the shadow leaderboard, he's 8-1. Like, what's more likely to happen? Like, Rory loses by 1 or 2 to Scotty, who had I don't know off the top of my head, like a 4 or 5 stroke advantage more.
Yeah, I've lost to hear my sheep, but he has a 6-shot advantage. Yeah. But like Rory's like in behind the 8 ball, he has to go after it, and this is his home.
And he probably will, and it won't be enough. That's why shadow leaderboard is the bet.
Yeah, him and Xander share a house at the Tour Champion. Like this is their home.
Yeah, this is their vibe. Like, this is where they come and shine.
The one thing about Xander is, like I mentioned about Rory, like being elite with the ball striking. In 7 out of Xander's last 9 starts, he's gained over 7 strokes ball striking. Like, he's striking the ball great. But he's like doing what Rory needs to be doing. He's like gaining strokes with the putter in each of his last 6 starts as well. So like, he just has it rolling on all fronts, except FedEx St. Jude, where he still like made the cut and finished T57.
Yeah.
And like, he's coming to East Lake having like a 5th, 2nd, 2nd, 7th, 1st in his last, or like 5th, 2nd, 2nd in his last 3 starts.
Yeah.
Like, Xander is the man to beat. What do you think of Woody Z's chances?
No, absolutely do not play well. No, he might not even tee it up. Like, absolutely not. And he can't hit a fairway for his fucking life. No, like, this is a horrible spot for Will. Like, him and Cam Smith, like, do not. Cam Smith, Like, if you want, like, oh, like, can you be inaccurate? Like, we're using the straw man argument. Like, be inaccurate and play well here. Look at fucking Cam Smith's results here. They've been god awful. He's like coming last every single time. They've been horrible here. He's the most inaccurate driver. Like, no, absolutely not. Cam Smith, Wilsey, all the way out on. Like, do not vibe with them this week.
Okay, is there anybody if we're moving down towards like the middle of the leaderboard, is there anybody else that you're like considering? Like, I don't mean considering there.
You know, I'm not gonna sit here. Like, I don't have a bunch of like plays that I'm like super high on, but someone I do like this week, you can get him top 10 without starting strokes at plus 200. Matchups, IMOG playing really good. Aaron Wise, yeah, like I'm all over Aaron Wise this week. Just a very, very elite ball striker, like extremely accurate off the tee, extremely good long iron player, average putter. Last week gained 6 strokes ball striking, gained 1.4 putting, 15th place finish. His first trip to East Lake, I think he's motivated. I think that, maybe again, shadow leaderboard, like someone like a Kevin Na that can just go out and score. I think it's Aaron Wise. He's not going to have to make a million birdies. Again, just playing excellent golf. Give me Aaron Wise. He's my favorite longer shot play. No starting strokes, top 10 matchup, DFS. I really like Aaron Wise this week.
Interesting. So if we're going in that far in the leaderboard, one person who I thought I was out on, and I don't think I am as much anymore, Adam Scott, is like 2 top 5 finishes in a row.
Yeah, if play him. He's been good here before. Adam Scott's 100% a play.
But he's been like hitting the ball like decent. Like, I thought I was out on him because I was just like, I'm never going to bet Adam Scott because I don't trust him to go and get it done. And even like he hasn't got it done in the last 2 starts, but he's still playing well. And I think I have a sour taste with Mate because like at the Wyndham he finished 76, and I thought that was it. I thought he had a good chance there. He's an interesting one there as well. I'm trying you are 100% right. From a betting perspective, it's so hard to like pick out anybody because like they're all like the worst odds in the world and nobody has any clue what to do. But I think I'm all in on Schauffele, and I think I'm all in on Adam Scott.
Love it. Like I don't see a world in which Xander like just shits the bed like this week. Like then every single podcaster should like stop because all people correlate Xander and he's like so much like this. It's like
I've been saving him one and done all
It's
year.
like Rory at Quail Hollow or like Cam Champ at Augusta. Like you just play them and you forget about it. So yeah, Xander, he's a play this week, but he's not gonna come back and win. He's gonna have a shot at the shadow leaderboard. Like even I don't know, it might be minus odds, so I'm not gonna. But top 5 without starting strokes, Xander Schauffele plus 160. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the last thing I'm all in on is Harry Diamond needs to go.
You gotta talk to Andy about that, okay?
Why does Andy not think so?
No, but I remember ask Andy about it. I remember that Andy said that he was kind of besmirching people that he didn't think that Harry Diamond could like go out and win a major with Rory. But he said that Saturday night at the Open. So, that might change things a little bit. But I don't know. Is Harry Diamond like his boy? Like his friend or something? Like
yeah, best friend. And Harry Diamond like good golf, like he's good golfer. I think he played in championships or something with Rory when he was younger or something like this. But I went on a podcast last summer and I stood up for Harry Diamond, saying, lads, it's not Harry Diamond's issue. But then this year, like we've just seen with so many other players where they go and they switch their caddy, and I'm like, maybe Harry needs to go. Like maybe he needs to go.
Look, I'm gonna do some research on this topic. I don't know, but I know it's a thing. Like I know it's a thing that people have beef with H Diamond, and that might be a valid concern. But I do not have enough info to speak on the situation. But I feel as though if you have gone that far away from Harry, then I trust your judgment on it.
I respect that. All right, let's do this last thing. Hot or not?
Okay.
You're kind of lucky because you get you've only 30 players in the field, and I'm like, is top 10 too? I usually do top 20. My top 10 is too easy. Top 5 is too tough.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you a top 8. So you're just going to say top 10 or not, and I'm going to give you the people from the bottom of the leaderboard, and you say whether or not they're going to finish in the top 10 on the shadow leaderboard or not.
Okay, on the shadow leaderboard. Okay, a lot of stipulations here.
All right, Corey Connors.
Yeah, accurate driver. Sure.
Max Homa.
No.
Scott Stallings.
No.
Sepp Straka.
Yes. Sepp is low-key the play this week. Like 2-time winner on Bermuda grass.
He's blessed to be playing this week.
No, he's not. He won a PGA Tour event. Like, Colin didn't win one. Rahm basically didn't win one. Cam Young didn't win one. Fitzpatrick shouldn't have won one. Like, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to win. So.
Okay, he's not best to be playing, but he's blessed to be starting -4. But anyways, this is supposed to be like 1 minute. Billy Horschel.
No.
Brian Harman.
Absolutely not.
Adam Scott.
No.
Sahith Theegala.
He'll finish T15.
Aaron Wise.
Yes.
KH Lee.
No.
Did I say Scott Stallings?
You did. I said no.
Okay. That's it. Billy Horschel's 175 to 1.
On the shadow leaderboard?
Yeah.
Or on the regular leaderboard?
No, right. Oh. I thought I was the wrong one. My bad. He's actually 45 to 1. I was like,
yeah, he's like 35 to 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend who I was at the tournament with was like, Sepp Straka shouldn't be 250 to 1 win the shadow leaderboard. And he's now down to 130 to 1. So we pounded that. So I'm hoping Sepp Straka is last year's Kevin Na.
You're moving the line, BK.
Yeah, like who? Like Kevin Na, like fucking, like winner of the shadow leaderboard. Like, does anyone miss Kevin Na? No, not a single person misses Kevin Na. Like, why was he even in the Tour Championship last year? Like, no one cares. So the PGA Tour is in a fine place.
Oh, sick. BK, this has been a pleasure.
Was it a bloody good time, mate?
Man, we don't speak like that.
Absolutely cracking.
We're like 1,000 miles away from there. We don't. But anyways, come here, plug your stuff. Where can people find you?
Just follow me on Twitter. Like, you'll probably laugh. Like TIB Tuesdays at 8. Like, just kind of I'm out and about, having fun. And I appreciate, the contests and the content that you put out. You're a golf nut. I love that about you. And you work really hard and you're a top bloke. So there's not really much more I could want out of a friend. So I appreciate what you do for the industry.
Oh, I'm gonna start shedding tears. BK, appreciate that. Just so people are aware, just before this stream, I tweeted out saying we're going live. And BK retweets it saying we're not going live until Mark gets to 1,000 followers. And what do you know? We're on 1,003 followers right now.
I mean, we just things change now.
We
hit 1K. Like things have changed. Like you're a new man now.
Stationary. BK, listen, thanks so much for jumping on. Thank thanks everybody for listening to the Plug Live podcast. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm sure we'll have you on again soon, BK.
Let's do it. Have me on for like the Sanderson or something. Like that's where I have my lines, I think.
Oh, I love it. All right, BK, chat soon.
All right.